Hello, thank you everyone for being here. My name is Isa Peña and I am the Director of Strategy at Innovation Law Lab. I'm also a co-leader of Oregon for All, a statewide coalition working to create a safe, welcoming, and prosperous state where Oregonians are treated fairly and have the opportunity to thrive. We are here today because Rigoberto Hernandez, an Oregon firefighter and member of the Mixtec indigenous community, was unlawfully arrested last month by Border Patrol while battling the Bear Gulch Fire. Today, Innovation Law Lab and Northwest Immigrant Rights Project are filing a habeas petition and temporary restraining order in federal court to demand his immediate release. The arrest of firefighters battling Washington's largest wildfire drew national criticism and violated a long-standing agency policy prohibiting immigration enforcement at disaster response sites. The unlawful and dangerous actions of ICE, Border Patrol, and Homeland Security under this administration have caused chaos, instilled fear in communities, and torn families apart. We are here together to share about the lawless actions of this administration and demand the release of Rigoberto Hernandez. Today, you will hear from my colleague, Rodrigo Fernandez Ortega, staff attorney at Innovation Law Lab, then Ariana Avena, Organizational and Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Director at SEIU. After our remarks, we and my colleague, Jordan Cunnings, Legal Director at Innovation Law Lab, can take any questions you all may have, so please hold those to the end. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, buenos dias. My name is Rodrigo Fernandez Ortega. I am a staff attorney at Innovation Law Lab. Our client, Rigoberto Hernandez, is being held in unlawful executive detention at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma, Washington, in violation of the U.S. Constitution and the laws of the United States. Today, lawyers at Innovation Law Lab and the Northwest Immigrant Rights Project are filing a petition for habeas corpus and a motion for a temporary restraining order, asking the federal court to immediately release him. Mr. Hernandez is a 23-year-old from Kaiser, Oregon. This is his third season working as a wildland firefighter. He is a qualified sawyer, and he often works as a wildland faller, doing the grueling and dangerous job of cutting down trees and clearing vegetation to manage the spread of wildfires and to protect homes, communities, and resources. Rigoberto describes his commitment to firefighting the following way. For me, firefighting is much more than a job. It is a calling. I consider it my duty. It has given me clarity in how I think and how I want to act and be in the world. I want to be able to continue to protect the land, the wildlife, and the people of this country. On August 27th, armed Border Patrol agents working with National Park Rangers illegally arrested Mr. Hernandez at his job site in the middle of an active wildfire. The federal agents appeared at the extremely remote location in the blockaded fire emergency zone managed by the federal government, where firefighter crews were assigned to work to conduct an immigration inspection. This violated long-standing Department of Homeland Security policy that prohibits immigration enforcement at disaster response sites. Mr. Hernandez invoked his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, and the federal agents arrested him despite having no warrant or reasonable suspicion on account of his race and in retaliation for exercising his constitutional right to remain silent. The federal agents then hid him from his family and his lawyers for more than 48 hours. Rigoberto grew up in the United States. His parents were migrant farm workers, so he was raised between Oregon, Washington, and California as they traveled for work. He moved to Oregon 3 years ago and began working as a wildland firefighter. Mr. Hernandez has completed an application for legal status, which has been pending since 2018 when he applied for a U visa. U visas are a tool to provide protected status to some victims of crimes, intended to encourage cooperation with law enforcement, to help communities solve crime, and protect witnesses from retaliatory immigration enforcement. Mr. Hernandez's family was a victim to a felony, and his father's testimony in federal court helped the U.S. attorney secure convictions. Mr. Hernandez has not yet received his U visa due to the massive backlog in the broken immigration system. Government agencies do not get to pick and choose which laws to follow. Federal agents illegally arrested a firefighter in the middle of that region's largest wildland fire in decades, and then doubled down on their illegal actions by not allowing him to make or receive calls from his family and attorneys for 2 days. They violated his constitutional rights to due process and risk public safety by interfering with the wildfire response. Despite being detained for more than 3 weeks, ICE only recently initiated removal proceedings against him. As of this morning, he does still not appear in ICE's public-facing ICE detainee locator. Mr. Hernandez's attorneys are filing this petition today to seek the release of Mr. Hernandez and to safeguard the rights of us all. If CBP can unlawfully detain someone in secret without notice or access to counsel, then no one's due process rights are safe. Thank you all.
Good morning. I am Ariana Avina, Organizational Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Director at SCIU Local 503. I'm proud to be here today on behalf of 72,000 working people in Oregon. By standing together, we have a voice in our contracts and in our daily work lives. Essential workers are from every community in Oregon, each doing our bit to keep our state a safe place for families and communities to thrive. We are home care workers, firefighters, nurses, and workers that maintain our roads, clean our schools, and keep our state running. Many of our members are immigrants or come from immigrant families. Rigoberto is a courageous Kaiser firefighter who was detained while trying to stop the Bear Gulch Fire near the Olympico National Forest. Like thousands of workers across our country, he woke up every day to do essential work that all of us rely on. This is back-breaking work. He put his personal health and safety on the line to protect and defend us and our property, and in this case, our treasured Olympic National Forest. We've witnessed the horrific and violent arrests of hardworking immigrants all across this country and tried to make sense of what is happening. This detention lays bare the unvarnished truth. This was never about public safety. Because if it was, then why would our federal government arrest someone who was sacrificing so much to protect our country? How is our federal government making us safer by upending the life of a law-abiding firefighter who is working so hard to protect us? What is happening is not okay. These immigration actions are destroying the very fabric of our communities. They are harming Oregon families. They are harming all of us and all of our futures. It's time to put politics aside. The administration should release Rigoberto immediately and expedite his U visa application so he can continue supporting his community and our region. Thank you.
Thank you both. There has been an overwhelming and outpouring support from the community, and we want to see justice for Mr. Hernandez. We want him back home in Oregon with his family and his friends. We cannot look away. We have a responsibility to act, and we cannot allow ICE to just detain people with complete disregard for constitutionally protected rights and the rule of law. Now we will open it up for questions.
What's the perfect outcome for you to resolve this as quickly and legally as possible for you all?
The perfect outcome would be for him to be released immediately.
Can you explain more about what you're doing today and what the process is for your client?
I'll pass it over to one of our attorneys.
Just a reminder to grab the mic, Jordan.
And say your name so we spell it correctly.
You can just clip it on.
Yeah, I'm Jordan Cunnings, Legal Director at Innovation Law Lab. The question was about the legal actions we're filing today. So we're filing a petition for habeas corpus. This is a long-standing form of protection from unlawful detention. And so that petition asks that the court find his detention as unlawful and release him. The temporary restraining order communicates to the court the urgency of the matter. So we believe this petition should be heard promptly and his release should occur as soon as possible.
And is that going through federal courts or state courts? Which avenue do you all have to take, and what are you running into?
We're filing in the Western District of Washington's federal court in Tacoma because he's detained at the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma.
Is the Tacoma Center full?
I don't have information about that. This administration has been detaining hugely increased numbers of people. So my understanding is, yes, the detention centers are overcrowded and they've always been unsafe, unsanitary, and the functional equivalent of prison.
How effective has it been? I've done a few stories on this, and I know you guys filed habeas corpuses before. Like, has it been effective in getting people released? Kind of how effective is it?
Unfortunately, the immigration system is so broken right now that habeas corpus and the federal courts are the only remedy for people subject to unlawful detention. This administration recently has manipulated their administrative agencies to require mandatory detention for functionally anyone who is a non-citizen in this country and who they detain, no matter how they're detained. So habeas corpus relief has become the way that we're able to assert people's rights, remind people that this country is one of laws and of due process for all of us. And so yes, we've had success mainly because the administration's actions have been so egregiously unlawful and the immigration system is so broken that it allows continued detention without intervention from a federal court.
Would you know how many people, though, let's say in the last 6 months that you guys have filed for, and it's like 5 have been released due to this? Like, do you have the numbers?
We've had, I believe, 6 successful filings in the past few months.
Do you know much about, there was another firefighter detained with him, who's representing him, or if he's challenging his detention or remains detained?
We don't represent him, so I don't have specific details on that. He also was a member of this courageous crew, and so we're equally concerned about his rights, but we don't represent him, so I don't have more details on that.
And there was some prior coverage that there was a criminal investigation into time card potential fraud prior to the raid, and I don't know if you have any information on that.
Yeah, I think the Seattle Times has done some great reporting that we've referenced. We don't have information additional to what's already been released in the media, but we are concerned that this was a setup and that the emergency response teams are working in collaboration with immigration enforcement. That should concern all of us who are at risk from the consequences of these natural disasters.
I know he was seeking legal status as a crime victim, but it sounds like that's obviously, 2018 is when he tried to do that, and he still hasn't received it. But I know his brother had also said he did himself have a criminal background and was deported before. Do those two correlate? Like, would that at all impact him not being granted citizenship and things like that at all?
I'm not sure what you're referencing as to the comments for his brother. I'm not sure that that's correct. He is eligible for the legal status that he sought since 2018. He has a single misdemeanor conviction for speed racing. He's turned his life around. He's become a wildlife firefighter, and that conviction does not make him ineligible for the form of immigration relief that he sought or for any other form of immigration relief.
Just checking, how old is your client?
He's 23.
As a lawyer dealing with this, how would you describe the checks and balance system as it's going for the legal system and clients that you're trying to protect? How would you describe it as a lawyer?
We're working really hard. I think the federal courts are one of the last bastions of due process in the moment right now, unfortunately. The executive, as my colleague Rodrigo said, doesn't get to pick and choose what laws they follow, but they clearly think that they can. And so the place where we're able to hold them accountable right now is from community power, and then also filing cases in federal court to remind them of their role following the law.
Is it unusual to wait 7 years for a U visa?
Or is that-
Unfortunately, it's not. So we think it's time for the petition to be adjudicated. He's waited long enough, but there are huge backlogs across the immigration system, including in the U visa adjudication system. So while we think the adjudication of this specific application is overdue, it's unfortunately not unusual.
I guess I'll just ask, have you guys heard from him directly in terms of like how he's doing there? I mean, he's been there for what now, almost a month. So has he shared anything about how just he's doing?
Yeah, I'm going to let my colleague Rodrigo answer that question because he's spoken with him in person.
Thank you, Jordan. May you repeat the question?
Just how is he doing? Like, have you heard from him directly about his experience there and just how he's doing overall? Now that he's been there for almost a
Yes.
month?
I speak to Mr. Hernandez several times a week. From the start and throughout, we have had some issues having access to him, but I've been able to speak with him several times a week, and he's holding up as best as he can for himself and for his family.
Has he given any indications of the conditions that he's in? Does he talk about that at all?
Yeah, like my colleague Jordan said, the conditions in the detention centers are very effectively like prisons. They're overcrowded, and they're very cold too in the centers.
Does he have children? Is he married?
He is not married and he does not have children.
Have you dealt with any situation like this before? I know it was said that it's, I mean, I guess essentially illegal to detain somebody who's working as he was at a disaster site and unlawful under the Administrative Procedures Act. So have you guys seen this happen before under this, current administration? Or is this the first one you've kind of handled?
Yeah, our organization has experience handling unlawful detentions and claims on APA violations, if you want to speak more about
I'll just
that.
say, yeah, this is the first time that we know of in history that someone's been detained while actively fighting a wildfire. So,
Can you say that again without me moving? Sorry.
sure. Yeah, this is the first time that we know of in history that there's been immigration enforcement on the site of active wildfire response.
Do you know what victim, I know you said he was a crime victim, and that's how he was trying to apply for the U visa. Do you know what crime exactly, what specifics on the crime he was a victim of?
Yeah, for the family's privacy, we're not sharing more details, but it was a serious felony, and he was a child at the time, and the father's cooperation was essential in getting the convictions.
Did it happen to him or his father?
The family was the victim of the crime. So. Thank you all.
Unless there are any other last questions, that will be the conclusion of our press conference. Thank you all so much.